Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video in Azure Data Factory playlist. So today we are going to see what is shared self-hosted integration runtime in Azure Data Factory. So in our previous video we have learned about what is self-hosted integration runtime and how we can download and configure in our local machine. So if you haven't watched that video, I recommend you to watch the video first so you can understand what is self-hosted integration runtime and how you can download that and configure with your machine. So let us get started. So let me give an overview of self-hosted integration runtime. So a self-hosted integration runtime provides you the computing environment to perform your on-premise to cloud data movement in Azure Data Factory. So the main role of self-hosted integration runtime is to act as a bridge for your data transformation or data orchestration within the cloud to your private endpoints that cannot be accessed through a public network. So it can provide you a secure access to transform your data from your on-premise server to the cloud. So let us see what is shared self-hosted integration runtime. So in Azure Data Factory, you can share the self-hosted integration runtime with multiple data factories. So you can create and configure a single self-hosted integration runtime, and you can configure it with any data factories under the same subscription. So um, what is the need of shared self-hosted integration runtime? The main purpose of sharing self-hosted integration runtime is to enhance the utilization of the resources and to maintain it efficiently. So let's say for an example, if you have a single self-hosted integration runtime and you are sharing it with multiple data factories, then it will be easy to maintain you because the self-hosted integration runtime is in a single centralized space where you can maintain all the updates and access provisioning for your self-hosted integration runtime. So this will be easily help you to manage the self-hosted integration runtime in a centralized area. So let us see some of the uses of shared self-hosted integration runtime. So efficient resource utilization, as we seen that so while we creating a self-hosted integration runtime in a machine, you can share it with multiple machines. So you can ensure that the the machine that have installed the self-hosted integration runtime is always running, and all the uh, related Azure data factories can access from the single machine. So the resources has been utilized very efficiently in this case, and there is a centralized management for the integration runtime. So the update updates and managements are handled at a single place. So it will very much helpful for the management of integration runtimes and cost reduction by avoiding duplicate integration runtime. So if you need to set up integration runtime for every data factories, it will cost you much for the configurations. So by configuring it by sharing the self-hosted integration runtime will highly allows you to save your money. So finally, the streamlined data integration across multiple data factories. So once you have perfectly configured the self-hosted integration runtime, you can use it in a number of data factories to perform your secure transformation from on-premise to the cloud environment in multiple pipelines through multiple data factories. So let us see some of the prerequisites for sharing a self-hosted integration runtime. First, you need to properly configure the self-hosted integration runtime in your machine. So while you downloading and configuring first self-hosted integration runtime, it must be configured without any dependencies or any missing prerequisites. So once the self-hosted integration runtime is working fine, then it could be transferred or shared with any data factories. If the installed self-hosted integration runtime fails, then absolutely the shared one will get failed. So you need to properly configure or set up the self-hosted integration runtime in your machine, and we need to provide administrator access for the both integration runtime and the Azure Data Factory to perform this sharing of the integration runtime to multiple data factories. And also we need to ensure that the network and the firewall settings has been allowed to communicate with the integration runtime. Let's say for an example, the integration runtime has been installed in a virtual private network, and a person with no access with the private endpoint tries to get access to the shared self-hosted integration runtime. It will not work because of the firewall issues. So the shared integration runtime must be in the same network, and can be accessible within the network, and the self-hosted integration runtime must be in a running state. So as we have already seen in our previous video, that the self-hosted integration runtime has to be in a running state. So ensuring this in the installed machine can able to perform all the activities in the shared ones. So if the installed self-hosted integration runtime has been inactive, then the shared Azure Data Factory will absolutely get failed due to the inactivity of the shared integration runtime. So these are few of the prerequisites before you are going to share a self-hosted integration runtime with any other Azure Data Factories. So let us see how to configure the shared integration runtime inside another data factory with a live demonstration. So let us get into the Azure portal and configure our shared self-hosted integration runtime. So here I have inside my Azure portal. So under the data factories, so we have created only one data factory which is available for us to share this self-hosted integration runtime. Let me first create a new Azure Data Factory. You can just click on this create button to create a new Azure Data Factory. It will take you to the marketplace where you can provide the resource group which we are going to configure. So let me provide this RG Azure Data Factory. Let me give the name for the data factory. Let's say for an example, shared PDF test. Let's see if it is available, and let us select the region Central India, and we can click next. So we don't need to enable the Git integration, so we don't need to add tags. So let's get into the review and create. Here you might see the summary of your Azure Data Factory. So let's click on the create. So here the deployment is in the progress. So once it is deployed, let us click on this go to resource. This will automatically takes you to the data factory. Here you can click launch studio. So this takes me to the Azure Data Factory portal. So you are inside the Azure Data Factory you have recently created. So under this, here you can see the manage tab. In this manage tab, let us navigate to the integration runtimes. So as we are aware of that, while creating Azure Data Factory, the Azure Auto Resolve Integration Runtime will automatically provision with this ADF, and it is in the running state. So we need to create an self-hosted integration runtime by sharing the existing self-hosted integration runtime. So let we have already created a self-hosted integration runtime in our previous data factory in our previous video. So let us go to the Azure portal and navigate to our data factory, which in which we have created the self-hosted integration runtime. So here let me click on launch studio. So this will take me to the ADF portal where we have the actual self-hosted integration runtime. So once you log into the ADF portal which contains the integration runtime, let me navigate to the manage tab. In this, let me go to the integration runtime. Here we have the self-hosted integration runtime in a running state. So here you can click this self-hosted integration runtime. So in this you can see the sharing option available for you. Click on this. So here they have provided the steps to perform sharing. So first you need to grant the access for the data factories that you are going to referring this integration runtime, and then you need to copy the resource ID that has been provided below and copy it and paste it to the linked self-hosted integration runtime available in your new data factory. So first let me grant access to the data factory. So here under the subscription you can see all the data factories available for us. So this is the shared ADF test which we have created recently. So let me click this and click add. So once we add this data factory, we can just copy this resource ID available for us. So here you can see we have the resource ID available for us. Let's just copy this, and once you copy this you can just click apply and get into the new Azure Data Factory that we have created. Here you need to create another self-hosted integration runtime, but we can configure the existing one. So for this, just click on this new, and here we have the option Azure or self-hosted. Click on that and click continue. So under this, you don't need to create a separate self-hosted integration runtime. We have an external resource option, which is the link self-hosted integration runtime. Just click on this and click continue. So this will gives you to provide the name for the integration runtime. Let me give us shared self-hosted IR. So here you have the resource ID. Let me paste it here. So once you have provided the name for the integration runtime and you have pasted the resource ID that you have copied from the existing Azure Data Factory, you can just click create. So this will automatically creates you the self-hosted integration runtime. So one, you can see the type is self-hosted and the subtype is linked. So this specifies that this particular self-hosted integration runtime is linked with another data factory. So currently you can see the self-hosted integration runtime is in running state. So we have successfully shared the existing self-hosted integration runtime from our data factory to the newly created data factory. So here now you can use this self-hosted integration runtime to perform your copy activity from on-premise to your cloud services securely without installing self-hosted integration runtime in your own machine. So I hope you have understood how to configure a shared integration runtime and how to use those shared integration runtime and the prerequisite to install and share the self-hosted integration runtime. If you find this video is helpful for you, please like and share with your friends and subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. Thank you for watching.